Hi, my name is Brenda Titus. I'm a professional hypnotist in Orange County, California. For information about myself and my program, including in-person sessions, please go to my website, ochypnotherapy.com. And thank you for joining me for today's Thoughts from the Hypnosis Office, where I talk about things that come up here in the hypnosis office to help you think about things differently, understand yourself and the world in a different way. And today I wanted to talk about kindness. Now, you might have heard the phrase, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. And I think that every once in a while we need to remember, first of all, there's a lot of things that we could be in the world. I was reminded of that last week, or well, for myself last week as I'm recording this, at Halloween. People got to pick all kinds of things that they could be. And it was actually a really fun time to think about kindness. And so, even though you'll be seeing this a little bit later, it has been a topic on my mind. Now, I really see kindness playing out in ways that can really boost somebody's spirits. And, these days we've had a lot of things going on in the world, a lot of challenges that I see. And I, of course, see that all the time because my clients are coming to me and talking about their challenges. But I have to be really honest. I have a whole subset to my hypnosis channel, or this YouTube channel, that I very open and honest about my challenges with my eyes and my vision. But the truth is that when I'm out and about in the world, people honestly don't really realize. My friends and family even admit that sometimes they forget that I'm having these challenges until I have to, kind of remind somebody that I can't read the menu because I brought the wrong glasses, or, they'll point something out across a restaurant and I'll say, I need some help making sense out of that. Or quite frankly, strangers at the grocery store, because I really did have an experience last week. So I was preparing for the Halloween holiday. I had several extra things on my grocery list, and I was having some challenges at the checkout line. And my checker was incredibly nice, and I kept saying, I'm sorry. I don't actually even know if she knows the challenges that I have with my vision. I think my husband has told her about it, but he and I shop at different times during the week. But she sees me every week, and and here I was clearly struggling, and all the people behind me waiting, and I kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm taking so long. And she was so calm and so nice, and she said, "It's okay. I got you. We'll take care of we'll take care of it." And it really helped because I really did need some particular help with part of my checkout, and it just meant so much to me. And I just think that so often, we can cruise through our days, our lives, and not really, we've got so much that we're thinking about on our own. And it really is important to remember that we are here on this planet during this time with other people. And if it can, take a moment to, let somebody walk through the door first, hold a door for somebody, smile, wave, it goes a long way. So that's kind of one element of what I wanted to share today about kindness. Now, the other one I actually wanted to share kind of starts with that Halloween idea. Like I said, in a world where you could be anything. Well, on Halloween, that was actually really fun. People got to be all kinds of things. We had kids come up as superheroes and princesses and animals and objects, all different kinds of things. And I got a tip from one of my clients that I just kind of wanted to share because it was so sweet the way that she explained this to me. And this client and I had talked about having 2 bowls of candy so that we could have, a chocolate option or not chocolate. And in our community, it is true, and actually, plenty of people, I always think about, the kinds of candy that are going to be that, the high ticket, kinds of things. But there are plenty of people who really like to, get the dum dum sucker, or get, gummy bears, or what have you. And so this client and I had talked about the idea of having the two different bowls, so that you could, have chocolate, or you could have something else. Well, then we were talking last week, and I think I'd kind of continued to engage her in this idea about choosing the candy. And she brought up something really interesting to me that then I really paid attention to on Halloween. And she said, well, I still let the kids pick the candy that they're going to get. I don't just, toss something into their bag. And I looked at her, I said, I mean, that's a lot of work. And, and we were talking about this because she was having a challenge with her back. And so how do we, do the physicality of holding the containers, and, and all this stuff. So that was actually why we were originally even talking about it, was this idea of how she could, toss the things into the bag without hurting her back. And she said, no, I want to let the kids decide. And she said, and I know this client pretty well, so I had an idea of what she might say. She's a very kind client. She really very nice, always asks me how I am before she'll tell me how she is every session. And which is, I mean, talk about kindness. Like I said, remembering, to think about the other person, even though I'm the professional who's here to help her. So she explained to me, she said, kids, there's so little that they have control over in their lives. And if we can give them one opportunity to pick what kind of Halloween candy they want out of the bucket, then let's do it. And I really was touched by her thinking about things in that way. And of course, since I'm working with people's inner childs all week long here in the hypnosis office, I really do understand how important it is to give somebody an option, give somebody a choice. And especially, the kids on Halloween. I mean, it is ultimately their holiday, right? And so we decided on Halloween this year that was what we were going to do. And it was really cute. She was right. It was really cute to have them, go through and pick and decide. And even some kids who, would, it was really easy to just, grab one and take one, or they'd say, oh, look, it's, an almond joy. Or, one kid, he said, well, do you have a Snickers? And I said, you know what? I do not have a Snickers, but what would be really neat would be to try something different. So is there something here that you've never tried before? And it was just a fun way, honestly, to engage and to have fun. Oh, and we had dressed up as something fun and engaging that the kids thought was, was kind of something that was with the K-pop Demon Hunters that was popular with the kids, that they all were so excited that we didn't even have kids there with us, but that we had fun and did something to engage and participate in the holiday that they found entertaining and fun. And in fact, how cute is this? A little girl looked up at my husband, who was dressed as a demon, and she just looked at him with these big eyes, and she reached out and she hugged him. And I was looking at her and I thought, wow, that was so cute. And then she hugged me. I mean, that was just it really warmed my heart. And I think that I really needed that this Halloween, and to be part of a community, to be, engaged, to have some fun, and to spread some kindness, spread some choice, spread some cheer. And so I just kind of wanted to share that today, to remind you, in a world that you can be anything, be kind. Think about other people, and how they might be experiencing the world right now. And, I'm not here to be preachy. It's just kind of, to share some of my thoughts and to share some things that I've been learning from my clients, in just a way that we can, continue to spread light out into the world. And so with that, I thank you so much for joining me today for today's Thoughts from the Hypnosis Office. And I wish you a wonderful week ahead. Go out and spread some kindness and spread some cheer, in whatever way, whatever flavor suits you in your life. And have a wonderful week.